sometimes it's better to be quiet so as not to expose your ignorance rather than speaking out, flapping your jaws, and just proving to people that believe that you don't know what you're talking about, that that is in fact true. Now, I was watching, obviously on the Roland Martin show this morning, the discussion regarding the U.S.-Mexico tensions over the border and the fact that Donald Trump, number one, lied because throughout his campaign, he would always say, we're going to build a wall, and always ask his crowd, or tell his crowd Mexico was going to pay for it. And then he would ask the crowd who's going to pay for it, and they would all yell Mexico. Well, the supreme negotiator apparently got outflanked, outpositioned, basically punked by the president of Mexico, who said, obviously, that they ain't paying for a wall. And if it's dependent on me saying that we as Mexicans will pay for this wall in order to have a meeting with you next week, well, guess what? I ain't coming. And then tweeted that fact out, and then Donald Trump tried to cover his ass by saying it was a mutual agreement where everybody knows it damn well wasn't. So Donald Trump got pumped. So as far as political negotiations are concerned, others won, Donald Trump nothing. Now, in this particular segment, as I alluded to initially, you're going to hear one person on this panel that, in my opinion, did not think about what she was going to say and then said something stupid. Here we go.
President Trump yesterday went to congressional Republican retreat in Philadelphia to talk about the GOP agenda, but his visit was overshadowed by his fallout over plans to proceed with building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border as the centerpiece of his immigration policy. In response, Mexico's president said, "I'm not coming." Canceled his visit, saying Mexico does not believe in walls and will not be paying for one, as Trump previously insisted, that forced the administration to backtrack on how the wall will be financed, with White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer telling reporters that it would be paid for with a 20% tax on products imported from Mexico.
We're still working together. This is the beginning of this plan to make sure it's done right, but it clearly provides the funding, and it does so in a way that ensures that the American taxpayer is wholly respected.
What? Okay, now in case you don't have any background in economics or any type of tariff law or tax law, when you place a tariff on imported goods, the ultimate payer of that tax is the consumer. So they could place a 20% tariff on tequila. Tequila. That tax, obviously, is going to be passed down because they're not paying that tax at the point that the goods arrive. The tax is actually paid by the final user, which would be you and me when we go to buy that bottle of tequila. That's when that tax is actually paid, okay? So it would be the American people who are actually paying that tax. That tax, tariff, whatever you want to call it, is going to be passed down the line from the point that it's imported into the U.S., the importer. It's going to be passed down to the distributor. It's going to be passed down to the retailer, who is going to sell it to you and me, and we are going to pay the tax. Now, if they were serious about trying to get Mexico to pay via taxes or tariffs, they would impose a tariff or a tax on the exported goods to Mexico. That would cause Mexico to pay the tariff or the tax. But what would happen there is the Mexicans, in retaliation, would just stop importing those goods, and they would get them from somebody else, especially items such as food. They would have no problem going to Australia or potentially some other South American company to obtain, if they get it, and I'm being hypothetical here, beef or grain products, etc. There's extra food flowing around the world. Now, if we don't sell it to Mexico, you're going to have some pissed off farmers, especially in the Midwest. So, but anyway, let's continue.
But then, Rice Priebus, the chief of staff for the president, came back and said, that's not really the case there. Let's come back to our panel. Y'all, which is it? They gonna pay for it? We gonna tax it? We not gonna tax it? What we gonna do with it? I mean, I just find it amazing that all of a sudden we can find money for a wall. We sure as hell can't find money to repair some pipes in Flint, Michigan.
I find that amazing as well, that they're going to be able to find $15 billion, and Republicans aren't jumping up and down about finding a source for the funds instead of just increasing the federal debt in order to satisfy this maniac, Adolf Hitler Jr., about building some damn wall.
Well, I think that I'm just trying to understand how this isn't actually the American people paying for the wall, right? The tax on the imports, these are products that people use every single day. The cost is going to go up on these products, on the fruits, the vegetables, cars, our electronics. These are things that we import from Mexico. They're something like our third largest import into the U.S. in 2015. These are costs that is going to fall on the American public. So I don't know how the Republicans or the Trump administration thinks that they're going to sell this to their no new taxes constituents.
Khalil, what's interesting is that Trump said, we're building a wall. Ryan went, it's going to be more like a fence.
Well, as I've said many times on this show, the risk of being redundant, if we cannot bring logic into white supremacy, reactionary freestyle, and insanity, the logic does not fit into that. All Trump has been saying, and a lot of people voted for him because he said this, white people in particular, is that he was going to put up a wall. How he's going to do it is irrelevant. Somehow he's going to make white supremacy magic occur. Mm-hmm. That's going to happen. And as we already know, even if he does what he says he's going to do in Mexico, that's not even close to enough money to build a $2 billion to $3 billion wall.
Oh, no, it's going to be more like 14, 15 billion. It was a 25 billion.
Right, so it's not enough money, so it's all a mystery in terms of what he's really going to do. We don't know.
I think this is another way for Trump to really intimidate brown folks in this country and in Mexico. He's literally, when we talk about the wall, we need to actually break down what that means. That means more police presence on the border. That means more death for people who are trying to cross that border. That means lives are going to be taken over this policy that literally we're going to be paying for. And it seems like the only thing he has done since he's been in office is snatch things away from the American people while also...
Okay, let me stop her right there. Number one, ain't nobody forcing nobody to come across that border. So as far as death is concerned, it's not us shooting people when they get to this side of the border. You know, it's probably more than likely them dying on the way. Number two, the people are illegal. Okay, so what you are trying to advocate for is for illegal people to come here. That one I will never subscribe to. Now, the third point is this one.
Making our taxes.
What are you talking about, American people?
They live here, that contribute to your society. As we learned this week, we also figured out that Mexico is providing a lot of goods.
One second. I want to allow you to finish your point, then come back to you.
Mexico is our people who come here from that country, just like you move from state to state.
Okay, see, now that's just plain stupid. Okay, moving from state to state is not a problem. Why is it not a problem? Because you are a citizen of this country, which allows you the freedom to move from state to state. She is trying to equate that with the freedom to move from country to country. No, Amber, it doesn't work that way. That's why it's called immigration. And that's why the people that are doing it without going through the proper channels are called illegal immigrants. Sometimes you need to think before you speak. That was just flat out stupid. Yes, everybody that lives on this continent, okay, is an American. But not everybody that lives on this continent is a citizen of the United States of America. Jesus, dumbass.
From Columbus, Ohio, I now live here in D.C. People have the right to move, and that is exactly what's happening. Regardless of if it's illegal or not, people have the right to move, and we...
No. Not regardless of whether it's illegal or not. That is a bunch of bullshit. Roland needs to keep her off his damn show because, you know, she's been sprouting some ridiculous bullshit. And I don't know if they told her to tone it down on the gay rights thing, but she was not well prepared and she didn't think before she spoke because what she just said is a bunch of bullshit.
We need to be setting up systems to make people, to document these immigrants who are coming over into the American country,
so right now,
instead of terrorizing them like what your president is promising to do.
Right now, I'm trying to figure out again. I thought Mexico was going to pay for the wall. Well, I thought they were going to cut a check. Now we got to pay for it? I thought we were told, oh, they paying for it. Oh, they paying for the wall. Why are we not paying for it?
Isn't it amazing you liberals all of a sudden become fiscal conservatives?
Isn't it amazing that when your ass is caught that you try to change the subject?
When it comes to this wall, you also start bringing in illegals who are taking up government services, these Syrian refugees who are costing them.
The Syrian refugees aren't illegal, idiot. They are refugees that we have granted entry status. So they're not even illegal. So you shouldn't even open your mouth about them.
They are not American citizens. They are costing us.
Let me ask you a question.
That is an
They also
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
services that they use.
Let me ask you a question.
They use more than they give.
Let me ask you a question.
Believe me.
I'm gonna go back to it. This is real basic. I thought they were going to pay. I thought your boy said, y'all don't have to worry about it. We good.
He said one way or
We
another.
got this. I thought that's what we would. Now you telling me
No,
the taxpayer?
Trump said, now quote him correct. Trump said, we're going to pay for it up front and get reimbursed by the Mexican
He
government.
said,
Yeah, he did.
he
He did,
From
Roland.
day one,
I watched it.
Day one, he said they are going to pay for this
No,
fall.
the campaign, yeah. But I'm saying,
Wait a minute.
as president, he said last week, we're going to pay for it up front and then get reimbursed by the Mexican government.
We lied for a whole year.
Reimbursement check, because we're going to pay, not the American, not Donald Trump and his folks aren't signing the check.
Do you understand
We are going to pay for it. Where do I sign up for my reimbursement?
Do you realize how much aid, military assistance, etc., that our government gives the Mexican government? We can start reducing that to reimburse them taxpayers.
No, you cannot. When you provide military aid, it must be used for military purposes, okay? So even if you said, okay, I'm giving $100 million in military aid every year, and now I'm gonna reduce it to 80, well, you reduce it to 80, so the 20 that you were going to give them, okay, has to go elsewhere. Now, yeah, you could take that 20 and put it towards the wall. Bottom line is that 20 came from us taxpayers, so we're still paying for the wall.
For that wall. That's very simple.
I'm asking,
Very simple.
I'm asking again. I'm asking again. Because see, now all of a sudden, well, we're going to pay it up front. Let me go ahead and play this again. Eric, every time Trump does this, we're going to do this. We were told they were going to pay. Not
Exactly.
gonna cost
No
us a
question.
dime. Now all of a sudden, oh no. We gonna pay up front. We just gonna file an expense report later.
Well, okay, so as long as you get your money back, then he upheld his promise.
No, so right now you can tell me that if we went to lunch and then you said I got this.
Like I normally do.
You say the first of all, that ain't true because you only place you going to the bowling alley with that shirt you got on right now. But if you telling me I got it, I'm gonna pay for lunch. Then we get there, say dog, my bad, I don't have my wallet. Then I pay. Now I can't find you. Now technically you did say you were gonna pay, and now you try to tell me I'm gonna pay you back.
But you assume Trump is going to disappear and follow your example.
No. I'm assuming he lying.
No.
The president of Mexico has said no. Like, definitely.
That's more than we need.
No.
Mexico said
Hell no. He said definitely not.
Mexico cannot touch us with a 10-foot pole.
Well,
Okay,
it's-
If they can't touch us, then why are we asking them to pay for something that is our idea?
If the
That
president
makes no
agreed with
sense.
Because Mexico has.
Let it clear.
If the president agreed with what you just got finished saying, he would have been upset about this whole deal in terms of doing what Trump said, but he said, I'm not doing it. He feels
He's
independently
got to say
fine.
that. He had 12% of the polls in Mexico. He's got to say that.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
But he said it.
Right.
But you know he don't
wait a
mean it
minute.
either.
He's 12% of the poll, but according to the polls here, only 36% of Americans approve of Donald Trump's job as president thus far. He got some work to do. All right, y'all.
Okay, so you got Trump lying, you got Raynard Jackson co-signing on the lie or trying to spin it, and then you got dumbass Amber Phillips saying stupid shit. I call them the way I see them, and when you have idiotic behavior, it's got to be pointed out. But the number one idiotic behavior was Donald Trump trying to punk the president of Mexico and getting punked in return.